One of the things about trying so hard to make sure that evidence is in multiple locations is that if any of it gets lost, there's a backup. I've been trying to do that. I've even succeeded in cases and then ended up getting both of what I was saving stolen. I've been from one end of the country trying to show what really happened, and when it's not happening to others, it doesn't seem like a big thing. When it is happening to them, it makes a lot of difference. Right now, we're looking for the paperwork for Chesapeake Medical Center. That's where, when I was supposedly arrested, I was actually taken to the hospital, and it was in the back of a cop car, so I can understand appearances and all that. But I told them what was going on. I was completely honest with them. When they got me to the hospital again, I was completely honest with them. They had a therapist come and talk to me and find out what was going on, and I explained what was going on. And I had to explain to the officer on the way there, I said, all they're going to do at the hospital is drop me off with a list of resources. They're trying to, well, they wanted to believe what they were told, which was not the truth. But obviously, they did need to get me to the hospital. I was severely dehydrated. Obviously, from the messages that I've shown, I was dehydrated. Natalie and Alicia both knew I was dehydrated on my birthday. And although I was really fine with it, I was there to rescue a couple of people. Natalie wasn't the only one. I was also basically going to go see a bunch of old friends I hadn't seen in forever, and they were all over the place. And that just didn't get to happen. So what I'm doing right now is going through my YouTube stuff and trying to find some of the videos where I showed my Chesapeake Medical Center paperwork, because I know I did. That's one of the things about trying to make sure everything's recorded. I know in a lot of videos I say that I'll post all the evidence in the bottom, but there's only so much that I can overload a person with attached to each video. The conversations and also the video evidence of the actual situations themselves shows that I've been telling the truth, and that people just wanted a scapegoat. They wanted someone to hurt. And it's been a matter of trying to get people to see it. Obviously, according to nearly everybody, it's impossible to get somebody to see it. But the other thing is, they're mad that I'm showing it in public. And if they were honest, they shouldn't be afraid of it being shown in public. The other thing is, if they'd have come forward in public about what they knew to begin with, well, then I wouldn't have had to video it or record it in telephone calls and post it up for people to know. If your cousin Jimmy got cancer and you talked about it while I was trying to explain my situation, if you made a story time and made it about you, that is on you. You had every opportunity to speak about what you knew, and you didn't. And a lot of people are dead, and a lot of people are responsible for those deaths. It would have taken a grand total of actually looking these things up with me for somebody to understand, yeah, this is wrong, and obviously these are things that don't just go away. And I've showed the evidence. The people were just outright lying every step of the way. And even with all of that overwhelming evidence, people who are paying attention a little bit want to believe what they're told by web sleuth shows that didn't bother to find out the truth. So, really, how are they going to get anything usable out of that? Why don't you go to the source? Why don't you allow the source to actually show up in court? All right, there's only so many you can scan through before you realize it's not on that section. I usually keep the live chat live, or not live, but on, because there's a little option on it when you make the video, whether the live chat stays there or not. And let's see. All right. A lot of times there's stories that I've told prior, and after telling those stories, I was able to find some of the evidence that I thought I'd lost or had forgotten about pertains to that story, and I actually retell it and show the evidence I found. These people really done me dirty. The relatives of Natalie's that were pretending like they were going to help me after Natalie was killed, and their friends like Tara Johnson Miles, who claimed that me and Natalie dated. Shit, you could read on her very Facebook her very own words. We never dated. We never had sex. We never had any kind of relationship like that. You can also see that although she said ew in the conversations between her and I on Facebook and also in my flip phone, like, yeah, she really laid that shit on thick. And obviously I wasn't about that. Oh, here's one that shows, see, copy link address, 3 of my predators. It shows Robert Warnick, Leslie Snell, and Sheriff Scott Costa of Dual County, Nebraska. These are 3 of the people that I was trying to turn in. I can show you right now. If it's local. That way we can make sure it is documented where people can see it. There's a letter from Meg that kind of explains the situation a little bit before I was arrested. There was one page that when I printed them out, it stuck to the other one, so when I read it, I didn't. Part of it I wasn't able to read. I just reprinted it and was able to read it, so it wasn't a big deal. But there's just little stuff like that makes things complicated. Let's see, this is from Clearview. Oh, that's cute. This is actually part of it.
Then I think that it might be in that pile, Tom.
Yep. You did a pretty good job of locating that. So that's my SSI stuff. Now that's Access Nebraska application. See, Heritage Health. That was from Tacoma. That's when I was up at my dad's. Yes, this is it. No, that ain't it. Almost sounded like we had a little howler monkey in here. So they got all these patients' right handbook things and all that, and I keep reading them, and I'm like, well, they violated all of that, and I tried saying something. That's a great thing about homeless people. It's great revenue for businesses like that. Great revenue for the application from Medicaid. Let's see, visit summary. What's this one say? Centura Health, Longmont. Reason for visit, back pain diagnosis, acute back pain, unspecified back location, unspecified back pain laterally. I tried to, imaging tests, XR lumbar spine 2 or 3V, XR thoracic spine 3V. My blood pressure was 115/60, temperature 97.7, pulse 91, respiration 16, oxygen saturation 95%. Follow up with Matthew Robert Gerlach. A lot of stuff I wasn't able to do. I kept on doing what people were telling me to do. I think one of the ones in here, they have the thing from Julesburg Hospital, I believe. And that's where I got my stress test. Longmont United. Oh, they wanted to give me drugs. I'm like, yeah, I don't think you guys understand that those things don't work in me. Pain relievers do not relieve the pain. They just wear off and then it hurts more. And, a lot of the doctors are like, well, yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. It blocks that signal, and then once that signal isn't blocked anymore, it floods on through. Let's see. All right, so this one right here, this is a discharge from continuing care plan. Of course, I'll cover up the let's see. I'll cover up the phone number, but this is my discharge from Clearview. And if you see down there at the bottom, the stuff that I said about how they dropped me off, basically they put me in a lift ride or whatever it's called, and then it drove me to the Stout Street Clinic and just dropped me off. But, there's a lot of different stuff that went on, so without being able to organize it and put each piece into its own specified portion of the timeline, like, if something happened on August 15th and I accidentally say August 18th, then all of a sudden I'm a horrible liar. Like, oh no, I've got it in here somewhere. If I got it wrong, I'll find it. It's just that there is so much. So, Bozeman Health, Deaconess Hospital. Let's see, they tested me for HIV and gave me a tetanus vaccine, and then pneumococcal something or other, lipid screening, influenza vaccine. I don't remember getting, it says overdue. So apparently I am a walking petri dish. That's good not to touch me. I don't want to catch the super flu. Yeah. All right. Well, these were all stained at the same time because the car that I got from David and Lauren Nelson, when the steering wheel thing went out over at Ken and Leah's, Ken and I towed it over to the other property that he manages. And I didn't realize that my hospital paperwork was on the floor. of my car, and I didn't get that until like 5 months after Natalie was killed. I was finally able to get it fixed and out of there. It was actually at my friend David and Bo's. Let's see. So it's stained about that color because they were all together on my vehicle floor.
Okay, good to know.
Yep. I'm gonna continue looking through for the files of evidence that I got on there
Okay,
and see if it's in there. I know that it is. It's just a matter of finding it. Easy.
well, I'm finding things that kind of got buried in other things that should be in these folders, so.
That's this stuff from. Oh, this one's from Cheyenne.
I wanted to,
Reason for visit: back pain diagnosis, lumbar back pain. And the doctor there, I've actually got that recorded too. He said some people have that reaction with pain relievers. So he said he understood if I didn't want to get addicted to stuff, he can't legally make me take it. And he also felt that I was right in not taking it. Most of them, though, like they were trying to prescribe me opioids. I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen. I've got enough dead friends. Now, this is Region 1 right here. Region 1, screening for alcohol, other drug use, and problem gambling. Let's see, regional health. It says PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder.
oh, this one's dirty paper.
Let's see, autism spectrum disorder, adult. And they kept on giving me this stuff. Like they'd look it up and they'd go, yeah, we looked it up, you're autistic. Like, yeah, no, dude, I'm not fucking stupid. What, did you think that I was, talking about magical unicorns and fairies and shit like that? Like, no. See. Yeah, this stuff's actually pretty cool. It's good stuff to learn, but doctors really need to learn more too. It makes people vulnerable. Living with autism spectrum disorder, how to manage lifestyle changes, medicines, how to recognize changes in your condition, therapy, relationships. I don't get why it would just be that one piece of paper there out of all of it. Here's Karuna Counseling. Admission form. People said I needed to go do all this stuff, and then they claimed I wasn't doing it and wasn't trying. No, I wasn't getting anywhere. A lot of times I was cut off from these people, or they just never called me back. Or they would have the receptionist call back to say that they would call them back. That's from Sydney, Nebraska. Yeah, I know I have it in here. Yeah, when I was going to see that lady at Corona Counseling, I was also seeing Jen Beebe. And before her, it was Tamara. When you're called mentally ill, nobody fights for your rights, especially not a lawyer who's getting paid. Whether he wins or loses, he don't give two shits about you. All right. I got another couple piles I can go through. Accident Hospital, authorization to disclose protected health information. I got a bunch of these too. A couple of them, I called them up after asking them for my information, and this is a good one. Could you do me a favor?
Are you talking to me?
Yep.
Okay.
These are all three from, or all four from my autism advocate.
So you need to come in there.
Actually, if you could, all right, the very bottom button on my scanner or faxer thingy. Yep, that one is to print. If you could print 2 copies of each.
Okay.
Thank you, Tara. Let's see. This one's from the Garden County Sheriff's Department. They did not take that seriously. And then the sheriff of that there county, while I was locked in prison for trying to turn in Scott Costa and all them, she beat the hell out of her girlfriend, which I'm sure ain't pleasant. And of course, although Nebraska State Patrol told me repeatedly on the telephone on my channel, it's not their job to police the police. Turns out it's their job to police the police. I do need this. God, I wish I had a real table. Having a toy box turned sideways isn't exactly the most effective.
Are you sure I hit the right button, Sean? This bottom one?
I hit it twice.
Okay. Hit it twice.
Yes, ma'am. Oh, here's my auto stuff.
Okay.
And of course, it's got Brenda Dickinson's name on it. That's pretty cool. I guess I'll put that over here. And here's some notes that I was able to take in Arapahoe County about some of the people that we know. Well, you don't know any of these people, but Jeffrey Ritchie does. And I guess that should be in the pile about child abuse and sexual predators. Let's see. Is that it? No. Arapahoe County Commissary says I have $0.00.
Do you need to have other people in there?
Sometimes I might agree that I have no sense. It might. That's not where it goes.
Oh,
Oh my God! I hope you did it. Oh. Let me show you.
okay. Yeah. There's no other paper in there, so I didn't know.
I have a whole ton of paper right over here.
Okay. I was like, wait a minute, I haven't done no printer thing before. I don't know what I'm doing. Sorry, Sean.
If all else fails, that's a letter from my autism advocate. So if you accidentally printed over it, I can still make another copy of it. All right.
No, there was no paper in there.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
But if you accidentally printed over these, because this is where the paper goes in, you could have printed what was in here,
Oh,
which is absolutely nothing, of course, and that's
Right.
nice.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, okay.
Now they're all sorts of out of order. I have no idea what you're doing.
oh,
Pardon me.
sorry.
Yeah, if you keep them in order, it helps.
Yep.
Otherwise, you have to read it and organize it.
This was the top one.
And usually what I do is I press the button so that it prints two of them off,
Okay.
and then I lay them face down and put the next one on.
Okay.
So.
So they go.
I'll print off the first one and show you how it works.
Yeah, I've never done a scanner before like this, so.
Amanda had to show me how to do this up in Washington, or up in Montana. And then it says 2 right there. That means it's going to print 2 of them.
Okay.
Like that.
Okay. I got you. It's too fancy. I'm sorry.
And then this one right here, this is just a printout because a lot of places, like I'd go in and explain to them that there's a bunch of evidence that's on the internet. And then they're like, oh, we don't give out our internet access and, stuff like that. So basically I had to, you got to try to find a place with internet where you can meet with them. And that's a big pain in the butt. This one right here is from she was supposed to be my autism advocate. Like they hooked me up with her. Who was it? I think it was Christine, and that reporter lady, Jennifer Dujowski, had told me about this place, so I had looked it up. So let's see. I went through that whole pile. I'm going to go through it again because I don't think I looked very well. But I'm sure that I also have it here somewhere. Oh, God. Yeah, that's a lot of it. All right, so I was supposed to have an apartment in or not an apartment, but a hotel room so that I could safely put together all the evidence I needed against Leslie Snell and Robert Warnick and Scott DaCosta. So when I got to the hotel, there was a safety issue in Chapel. So I had to leave there and try to find a place where I could actually work on this. Kaplan actually helped me out. They gave me a 7-day voucher or whatever at that hotel room. And the cops came and stole me the second day. We were supposed to meet with Tara Smith. I've got her card somewhere around here. And I also have Jen Beebe's card and a lot of the other places that I went. Like, without somebody going in with me, I wasn't going to get taken seriously. And without somebody looking at the evidence instead of just saying, I believe you, like, the cops get to pretend whatever they want. Legal Aid of Nebraska was useless. Let's see, this one's Sergeant Zachary W. Goodrich, useless. Dula County Sheriff's Office, Mike Kramer. I don't know if he was useless or not. He's probably in my videos. But that right there, that explains the whole situation. If you could take a copy with you and you can read it whenever you want. Because that shows that literally they abused their position to prevent me from turning them in. They misled the situation and they withheld evidence and they prevented me from being allowed to speak in court by pretending I'm schizophrenic. And I need to find something. Actually, I should probably just make a photocopy of this too, because I can't put on like phone numbers and stuff like that. And Lisette Brown, she was supposed to be my autism advocate in Colorado. Like that was before they found Natalie's killer, but after she'd been killed. I had just been released from Clearview, and this lady was supposed to help me, and I was obviously homeless in Denver, Colorado, after being on Denver news as this great and mighty serial killer monster dude. So I mean, obviously people are not being nice, and I tried to let people be aware of how it was and how it was going. But, instead of people actually, helping me in person, that's literally what I needed. And the longer it took, the longer these guys were allowed to get away with what they've been doing. Now, going to mom about it obviously did not work. I didn't try to go to anybody on mom's side of the family until it had been going on. I tried to get help from mom's side of the family at grandma's funeral. And I didn't try to contact them before that because that just ain't gonna work, Yeah. Also, I'm gonna give you a copy of this. Okay. It has Lisette Brown's phone number on it. Okay. And she can verify what an asshole I was when I was trying to tell her about what they were doing to me and where I was at and how she treated me and how she told me, well, it's not my jurisdiction. Well, see, that's the thing is that no matter what jurisdiction you're in, you're the person I was told to contact. Who am I supposed to get a hold of? Yep. But also, it allows me to protect the number. If I can find my Sharpie, then I can, there's protected information I don't want to give out and don't want to get in trouble for. And some of it I'm not sure if, showing that will prevent it from being allowed in court and things of that nature. But, trying to go through the police.
Are you still?
Yep.
Oh. Here, so I put these all in the same order that you copied them.
All right,
and if they're not in order, then, but at least they're all piled.
All right. Did you make a copy for you?
Oh, no.
All right.
I didn't know I was supposed to. You just wanted to do.
No, I did, but that's all right. I'm not speaking very loudly, and when I don't speak loudly, people don't hear me. It's okay. Now, I could be wrong. If it'll make you feel better, I'll go back through it later, and if I was wrong, I'll tell you I was wrong. All right. Actually, if you could read a copy of this real quick. This one's for you. I should probably make a file for you so you have everything. I mean, I got a file for every other dang thing, right? Let's see, these are, all right, some of those recordings that I was angry about, I actually have them here on my YouTube. A lot of them are private, but that way, if anything happened to that stuff, like I'd still have a copy. I've just had to go through so much insane crap to try to do it. Third try, oh, this is trying to, I show the technical difficulties I have too, because like, it's not that I'm not trying. I have no idea what I'm doing. Let's see. All right, I'm finding a lot of stuff on a lot of other different stuff in this. So, God, that always happens. I always find evidence of that I need for other stuff while I'm looking for evidence of something else. But, and I still haven't found my Sharpie. God, I know I had it. I'm pretty sure I had it over there though.
I haven't seen.
It's a good thing I bought 100 of them folders, huh?
Yeah. I've used those before. You've given me quite a few yourself for that, so.
Most of these, this is from All right, so when they released me from jail after assaulting me in Boulder,
Right.
they wanted to know where I was at all points in time and some crap like that. So I saved receipts.
Well, here's one from Wyoming, a paper from Wyoming.
Yeah.
I haven't made one for that yet.
I already went through that one though.
Oh, that was just a random paper I pulled out of here. Sorry.
That's right. Nothing here is random. It all means something.
Well,
It's just a
I
matter
know
of putting
that,
pieces
but
together. The best way to do the ABCs is front to back. Z, Y, X, W, V, U, T, S, R, Q, P, O, N, M, L, K, J, I, H, G, F, E, D, C, B, A.
go backwards.
I think so. Oh, there it is. I knew I'd find it. I need a filing cabinet. I don't know where I would put a filing cabinet though. I've been going through a lot of the recordings that I had because sometimes I'd make like a lot of them. If I had to be out in public a lot, I always turn it on. Most of the time it's nothing. Like it's just me going to pumpkin pantry, making people laugh and leaving. But once in a while, people are jerks. If I don't have it recording when they're jerks, and the cops get to pretend it didn't happen. And of course, even if I do record it, they want to pretend it didn't happen, but whatever. Let's see. Oh. Super stressed for getting stuff done. All right, and then I can cross out Lisette Brown's phone number. Her jurisdiction was Longmont and Boulder, and since Clearview had transferred me to, what did that piece of paper say? Stout Street Clinic. Of course. Thank you, ma'am. Perfect. All right. So one thing that you never want to tell people when you go to the hospital is that you've done marijuana. Because they'll put it down and say that's the excuse for everything. You also don't want to tell them you smoke cigarettes because that'll be the excuse for everything. And
Okay.
there are a lot of people who have been sick and died because doctors wanted to misdiagnose something as you smoke too much.
Well, this should be that whole bag for that because this was everything that was with that entire paperwork.
All right. Oh, yeah. Like I said, I had to continue to buy stuff so that I could try to actually
what was
record
with that
what was going
paperwork,
on.
so I figured that bag should be.
Brianna.
I remember, man. She's about the only one I
See, now
remember
you
out of
remember
that.
her.
No, I've always remembered her, but she was the only one I remembered.
Yeah. I don't think that's your phone number.
Wait, no, that.
Well, there's a few Taras I've had to work with, like Tara Smith, for example.
Yeah, I don't recognize. That's not a number from this area. That seems like a Colorado number.
308? No, 308 is
Well,
Nebraska.
It is in Nebraska, but this number is not any number I recognize from this area as in Chapel or City.
Yeah, I think that's from Tara Smith, the caseworker.
Because I don't recognize it as a Sydney or a Chapel
Sydney
number
Regional Medical
that I've ever
Center.
had.
Sorry, I just ADOS'd out. I was reading something and trying to think how important it might be.
You've been looking for, so.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, I think this is a lot of the stuff I just picked up when I was arrested. I hadn't gotten a chance to go through it all yet. There's a manila envelope over there. It says David Saltzman on it.
Over here?
Yeah.
Might be under this laptop. This one?
Bureau of Firearms.
Yes.
Oh, Serbu Firearms. That's what it is.
This one?
Yes, ma'am. This is pretty cool. I got this just so that I can show how much of a joke all of this ATF crap is. Of course, if you make this thing, you're probably more likely to hurt yourself. That's the reason I don't mess around with rockets. When I first started studying them, I went, you know what? I want to make a. Nope. That guy's missing pieces, and all he made was a toy. Yep.
Okay. This is this bag.
Actually, this is it. This is the one from David Saltzman. Beaverton, Oregon. So he and his wife had a fire next to their place up there. She was offering to come help me. And then that fire happened, and I haven't heard anything of him since.
Oh.
All right, so I guess
You weren't kidding when you said you had a bunch of them.
yeah, that's not even half of them. A bunch of them were stolen. I've actually got the videos on my YouTube of literally the people that stole them.
Yeah.
And the officer who was a jerk to me about it. And then I also have the phone calls on my YouTube channel between me and his department trying to turn him in. And they were supposed to send me to the internal affairs or whatever it's called. And instead, they sent me to the officer that I was trying to turn in to have him investigate me. That'd actually be a good one to find. All right, this one right here. Let's see. Copy link address. This is not the first time that I spoke out about Robert Warnick. I mean, I spoke out a lot from the very first incident. The problem was that nobody would listen. I'm like, here we are. I was all over the news as some sort of monster, and it was shown that I wasn't that monster. But I wasn't allowed to defend myself to the media or to the courts or in the courts or show evidence or face my accusers or anything of that nature. This one right here is, of course, Meg. Let's see, trying to help me with the WebEx court thing. The problem is, like, a lot of these people who claim that they tried to get heard and nobody would hear them, I have evidence of it, so they're not just claims. But I say claim because if they're not going to speak up about it, and I'm not going to get heard unless they speak up.
Mm-hmm.
God, that was a lot of scrolling. Here's Dennis and Brenda. Well, all right, it wasn't Dennis. It was just Brenda. No, I don't.
Okay, well that's just gonna hang on to over here.
On the bright side, I don't have any potassium hydrochloride. All right, I have lots of potassium hydrochloride. I don't have any potassium nitrate. I feel it's nice to be nice to people and not do stupid stuff. Let's see. That's for, oh, this stuff right here. This is all from, if you come take a look real quick.
Yeah.
I got my thumb over the camera. All right, this stuff all right here that says from 11 months ago on the way back to a year ago.
Yeah.
This is all while I was at Ventus's house. There's a lot of stuff in here. Like right here, you see that? That's just the very front thing. Aunt Mary was calling. My Aunt Mary, of course.
Right.
I don't think you, well.
I vaguely remember her, like, almost to the point I don't know if I can't picture her face, I'll be honest, but I can kind of remember her.
All right. Well, that right there, you see how it says restricted, restricted? Like I had
Oh,
about
yeah.
30 or 40 of those. I feel like such an asshole too because I blocked Rebecca Black.
Yeah.
You know, I
You've told me that before.
I don't think that I think I suckered the wrong person by doing that. That was just it feels mean, you know. But the other thing is I was having a lot of people I know in town actually pulling that stuff. So um, through all of these, the ones with the gray background like this,
Mm-hmm.
that's all in Ventus's place, and he lives right off of Colfax in Denver. You ever hear of Colfax?
It sounds vaguely familiar, but not really. Like I've heard it mentioned. That's all I heard. I can remember.
Well, a lot of these where it has the word evidence in it, it is evidence, and sometimes it's talking about evidence that I just shown, telling a little bit about the stories of how I got it and stuff. Um, but there's one in specific here. Oh, look at that one. That's me. Yo,
You got a lot in there.
I do.
Yeah.
Some of these are just me talking about stuff like drug-induced schizophrenia, and I give examples of people we know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I talk about the Unabomber because a lot of people they're totally into this stuff and it's creepy. Um, let's see, Nebraska Autism Society versus the others. Meg is badass. She really did try.
I still want to talk.
Let's see, the ones that have the plastic rifles in the background are just before that. Um, and this is the call that I made frantically. It's called uh, Scott DaCosta Bad Day. Yeah, I had to post that one up a while after I got out because the guy that I was staying with at the time, Scott had basically intimidated him into not allowing me to use the internet or plugging my stuff in. So I ended up having to readjust a bit for that, and I wasn't able to post this until like over 2 weeks later. Actually, copy the link address. I'll post that one up too. But if I put it in the comment section, then it's easy to reference later when it's needed.
Right.
Um, all right. You are not my receptionist. All right. So Lisette Brown, I colored out her phone number, but this is one of the screenshots. I was starting to print it out because I was told I have to show the evidence on paper. So like every time I was told I needed to do something, I tried. It didn't get anywhere, but go
At
ahead.
least it shows you're trying.
Right.
I think that's the
Everything
biggest
that
thing.
is around you shows I've been trying. I mean that pile right behind you, the tallest one, that represents hundreds of applications and telephone calls probably per inch of the stack. I mean,
All right.
oh. Print this, or not print it, but yeah, print it, I guess. Photocopy, that's the word I'm looking for. I can't find that last piece of paper, but these ones will work for now. The other one was on marijuana use.
Oh, it's right here.
Oh, perfect.
Remember you handed it to me and you said that this went with it.
Yeah.
It was all same color.
Yep.
Yep. See, I told you. I was getting it for you because I figured that you were wanting that too.
All right.
I knew I was there with you, bro. I got you back.
All right.
No.
Live
not
low.
sure where these
I get your
supposed
butt.
to go in, but I'm looking specifically for the stuff that, Chesapeake Regional Medical Center. This is,
That was the top page, wasn't it supposed to be?
yeah, they gave me that. They gave me a whole list of resources in the
No.
Chesapeake area.
Mm-hmm.
And literally the closest one was 8 miles from the hospital.
Aha.
Yeah. So, and I had told the officer, I'm like, you know what, they're just gonna drop me off. You're just gonna drop me off at the hospital. I'm gonna explain to them what's going on. They're gonna drop me off with a list of resources and tell me good luck. Well, they did a little bit more than that because I was severely dehydrated. But they didn't charge me all that much for it. They only charged me for one bag of saline. That
Right.
was awful nice of them.
Yeah.
Um, Now, don't get me wrong, these resources sometimes work for some people, so I'm not saying don't try, but I'm saying if, people need to document the fact that they did try.
Yes. So, I think, is this a pile 2? Oh, yes, this is a pile 2.
Yep. The difference between being delusional and telling the truth to these guys is whether or not you can prove you're telling the truth.
Yes, I agree with that one.
Having to go talk to doctors after all of this stuff was removed from my custody and I couldn't show it to them, they just assumed whatever the cops told them was true.
Which does this go under?
Let me see it.
I wasn't trying to be.
This is Nicole Peralta, so that goes under anything Sydney or Dual County related.
Okay, and this one?
That's the evidence bag from when they stole my shit.
Okay. In Dual County?
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I needed to know, because we have
Yes, ma'am.
one for it. Right, watch out.
Alright, this is much more easier to help. Whoa. Now, when Robert Warnick come out to assault me the first time, or to threaten me the first time, he was claiming some crap about how he thought somebody paid Nikki to have me bound, or Nikki had paid somebody to, it was just some crazy drunken bullshit.
Okay, these go.
But the problem is, at the time he was very, very serious about it and threatening to shoot me. And then later on he says, oh, I was just joking. Like, you didn't say it as a joke. You literally threatened to shoot me in the head for walking down the street. That's not something that I'm going to take as a joke. I've already been through hundreds and hundreds of people threatening me in real life and on the internet. Then
Yeah.
the cops want to pretend I'm schizophrenic for saying that. There's no way you can pretend that. There is no possible way that anybody could be that incredibly stupid. All right, discharge instructions, attachments, and references. The instructions for marijuana use and the diabetes diet guidelines, general info, English. So, let's see. Oh, and anxiety disorder, of course. Like I said, I was there, I was stuck, I was scared. I didn't know how I was going to get home. I hurt myself even worse trying to work through labor ready and keep up with them youngins. Here's another part of that. This one's a place called Menchville House Ministries. Like, they had all sorts of resources that they were trying to, tell me to go to. But the other thing is, I didn't want to be that close to Natalie and Alicia, so of course I went back to Boulder. And we helped me get the money to get back to Boulder, which is nice.
Yeah.
The cops had told me that they were not going to impound if they did. The officer that I had explained the situation to and told him they're just going to drop me off at the hospital doors with a list of resources and a good luck
Yeah.
He said, oh no, they're not going to do that. They're going to help you out. They'll help you out. And I got there and they dropped me off with a list of resources and told me good luck. So when I called him up, he kept his word. He said he would help me get my vehicle out if that was the case. But he didn't end up having to do that. Instead, Aunt B, since my insurance was in her name, my insurance paid for it. So that was actually pretty nice. But that's all stuff that like I didn't have any clue how any of that worked. What else you should know? Learning about diabetes food guidelines. You know, that might be good for people to know. Oh. I think one of the worst things about hospitals is how much they do nickel and dime.
What?
I said, I think one of the worst things about hospitals is how much they do nickel and dime.
Yes.
Like, the thing that weirded me out, they didn't charge me for a drug test because they never administered a drug test.
Right.
They were able to tell pretty much right away that I was severely dehydrated. It's not like it wasn't obvious. And they put 2 bags of saline in me, but it's not like the stuff they do up here and in the Rocky Mountains where it's like 0.2% saline solution. The shit they got there is 0.9. Yeah, it's almost 1% salt. Yeah. There's your diabetes guidelines. This is a photocopy. Obviously, you can see the stains and crap. This is their beautiful list of resources. If you do live in that area and these resources might help you out, I do encourage you to use them. They are not going to be helpful in every situation, obviously, and they will likely not be useful in most of your situations, but you'll never know if you don't try. This one right here, it shows, I suppose I should probably grab this here pen. And then I already start a pile of business cards to photocopy next. All right, this is a hospital, so I don't have to hide anything here, but all right, it says ED medication administration from 10/23/2016 at 8:52 to 10/23/2016 at 14:21. Now in that time, they actually administered 2 bags.
No.
And one of the ladies that I was talking to, she said she's a nurse and that they can tell by the amount of time that I was on it, whether it was 1 or 2 bags. And that since I was on it for quite a few hours, I was at the hospital for a while, and obviously they would have changed the bag. She said they probably changed it more than once. They just didn't charge you. She said if you were homeless, they were probably just glad to get you out of the hospital. I'm just making sure it doesn't have any protected information I need to cross out before I show it. It doesn't show my social security number or any crap like that, so that'll work. This is while I was in Virginia. And they did have a therapist of some sort come talk to me. So I saved everything. You know, it wasn't all easy to find. I had to travel all over the country to recollect stuff that was left all over the country when I was trying to
It's tough to get help from alcoholics. That's just good intentioned, but oh, it also says I have not been prescribed any medications. I should probably show that part too. You have not been, oh, come on now. I wish it would, you know what I need to do? I just need to clean that thing. Because I'm trying to show evidence and it's just being like that. Like it's really not showing anything but a blur stain. And it's also not focusing. And of course the hospital there, if you guys need the hospital there or you need the information, there it goes almost immediately. I guess all I need to do is keep my nasty cock beaters off, getting them all greasy and nasty. All right. Does this one have any of it? All right. So their diagnoses are anxiety, soot rot from sweating in my boots. It's pretty hot there even in October in Virginia, and the McDonald's there, they had literally just repaved their parking lot, so I mean it was dark black. It was, you know, the tar coat, and I had a black vehicle, and I was in there for like 6 to 8 hours. It was hot as hell. Let's see, and I was discharged on October 23rd, 2016. It does not have social security numbers or anything like that on it. So I guess everything but this is okay to show. If y'all are in Chesapeake, Virginia and you need to go to the hospital, anyway, they said diabetes mellitus, of course. And we're going down and showing this to you. Sarah E. Gregory was the lady I talked to. I explained to her about the situation with Natalie and the heroin and my birthday and being dehydrated and my telephone, and you know, I laid it all out straight. I explained to her that, you know, I told her what the cop had said about, you know, dropping me off with a piece of paper with resources, and she had said, you know, and unfortunately, you know, that's usually how it ends up being, you know. She had explained to me some of the places on the list of resources that might help, and the closest one was 8 miles away. She's like, it's 8 miles away, but if you can walk that far, you ought to be all right. I could at the time. It just was excruciating. So I went from having a vehicle that I could have used to get out of the area to being homeless right outside of the hospital door, and people thinking that I got arrested. Like, no, I was dehydrated. No crime in that. But the actual doctor lady came into my room. They'd taken off my boots. I had boot rot. And like I was having problems staying conscious at this point. I mean, it was really bad. And they took off my boots, and the lady started talking to me. And this doctor lady, she just peeked in for a second. And then she leaned back out the door and she said, he's got diabetes. That's as quick as it was. She looked at my feet and diagnosed me with diabetes on the spot. That's some great detective work, lady. I can eat a whole loaf of bread and be fine. So and Sarah Gregory, she's a physician assistant. She might have been the one that peeked in and said that I had diabetes mellitus. That's type 2 diabetes, I believe. Type 1 is juvenile onset, and I'm not sure what the name for it is. Let's see. This is another one of their, this is for mental health referrals. And obviously I was in a very bad mental state. I was scared. I was stranded. I didn't have the money to get out of there. See, it's all stained up. But I let him know. I'm like, I'm under a lot of stress. I just want to go home. You know, I did explain to him. I thought that Natalie and her sister and her family would understand it. Maybe Natalie would explain it to them about me being dehydrated on my birthday and how it had been 4 days. Possibly Alicia might have told him, all right, I gave him Natalie's old phone. Natalie knows I gave him her old phone. It doesn't work right. You would think that people would exchange that kind of information, but no, it was, of course, as it usually ends up, you're a homeless dude. You must be a horrible, horrible person who's trying to chop people up into little pieces and feed them to all your little homeless buddies. Come on, people. Y'all call me paranoid. You guys, your excuses for doing these evil things is your paranoia. People are paranoid of losing their jobs if they come forward. They're paranoid their kids will be targeted if they come forward. They're scared to tell the truth, and no wonder why. A lot of the stuff that I had heard about Ted, Natalie's ex-stepmothers and her real mother verified. Everything that I've had to go through since then is over Natalie's death and the rumors and everything. There were a few decent things that had happened before she died that were supposed to be able to help me out. Like Jeff Ritter, after the first of the year, he was going to be able to help me, but with the holiday season and everything, he wasn't able to. So, lo and behold, afterwards, he wasn't going to say nothing. I did meet with him while I was in Denver. Right after Natalie died, and after I was released from Clearview, of course, because the first time that I tried to go to my appointments with, God, what did they call it? Stout Street Clinic. That's the clinic that Kara Heller and Jeff Ritter had hooked me up with through the Colorado Coalition of the Homeless. And I had a couple of visits that I needed to make there for my back, my teeth, and I was also supposed to be seeing a psych specialist and trying to get a referral to